Hi from the Barista Course Hamburg. You see quite a few machines here. First, the Profitec Go 2.0, which has just recently hit the market, and on the other hand, the ECM Exacto. We won't be talking about either machine today. We're actually right in the middle of testing them thoroughly. And maybe you've seen our podcast with Michael Hauke, who introduced this machine to us. Check that out, then you'll find out in advance what new features this machine brings with it. But as I said, it'll take a little while until we've thoroughly tested both machines. Today isn't about that, because today is about this little tool. This tamper here comes from the company CERA and is called the ET58. We recently discovered this by chance in a Kickstarter project. It's now available on the market and costs 199 euros. We bought it right away and now it has finally arrived. We've been using it diligently for about, I think, 2 months now. Take a look at what this gadget is all about. As I said, we'll make separate videos about these two machines and show them to you soon. But as I said, that'll take a little while. Here we have an electronic tamper. That's what today's about. And it's not just an electronic tamper where you can set the pressure, meaning how much pressure you want to tamp with, but it's a combination of a tamper and a vibration unit. This means this tamper vibrates first, compacting the coffee grounds and distributing them nicely in your basket, and then it tamps with exactly the pressure you want that you've predefined. Maybe you saw our last video where we already announced and used this tamper, and for one reason we wanted to have a clearly defined pressure and we wanted to have an exactly identical espresso puck if possible, because we tested 2 different baskets and tried to find out what changes in the espresso when we use different baskets. Specifically, we used 2 very, very different ones, a step-down basket and a classic 18-gram basket. And so that we really have the exact same distribution in our espresso puck, we use this tamper because we found that this tamper can change a whole lot in our espresso game. And if you're interested in topics like this, we'd be really happy if you subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and join the discussion here in our forum. Because that helps us to keep buying new gadgets in the future, trying out new gadgets, trying out new machines, and then presenting them to you in individual videos. But now to this little tamper here. Or rather, it's not even that small. It feels good in the hand, it's relatively heavy. And before I go into the individual details, I'd first like to make you an espresso and show you how it all works. So now we have our 18 grams in there, and normally we have to distribute this pile nicely. We've already shown in a post how vibration tampers work. And through the vibration, we really have the advantage that the coffee grounds are first properly distributed in the portafilter. And here we have, as I said, the combination with a built-in tamper. So I just put it on, turn it around, and off we go. So I don't need to put it down anywhere. I'm holding it relatively straight now. The vibration distributes the coffee grounds. I hope we can show you that again with a transparent basket, so to speak. Now it's tamped, and we're ready to go. Everything looks very clean. I don't know if you can see it well. Yes, perfect. So now let's just take a moment and see if we get a channeling problem or not. Let's go ahead and start quickly and get going as planned. And as you can clearly see, we most definitely do not have any sort of channeling problem at all. We've been using it, as I said, for 2 months with a bottomless portafilter, and I haven't had a channeling problem even once, and that really changes quite a lot. So now I can give it a try. This is our new Choco Breeze. Not much to say about that. I love this coffee. I'll now try to show you how it all works using a replica basket or portafilter, so to speak. To do that, I'll first try to grind 18 grams into here. I'll simply turn off the portafilter recognition and manually grind 18 grams in here now. now we see what happens. We naturally have an uneven distribution in our portafilter. I won't try to level it now, but instead I'll try to show you how this tamper works in a close-up shot. So I hope you can see that clearly. I don't have a locking mechanism here, so I have to press the tamper down here now so that it might also work properly. So you saw that the tamper just went up a little bit. That's simply because I don't have a locking mechanism here, as I mentioned before. But I hope you could clearly see how the coffee grounds were nicely distributed during tamping. And here we have the result. It looks incredibly clean, and we also have a nicely and evenly distributed coffee puck. So we don't have any holes in here or anything, but it's very, very nicely compacted. And the result is simply that so far we actually haven't had any channeling at all in any of our extractions. Now you could say, well, okay, I am able to tamp properly. I'm able to distribute it properly beforehand. Maybe I'll even use a WDT tool to make the distribution a little bit better. That's all correct. But even if you work perfectly, it can still happen that you get a small channeling problem. And that's something that simply takes away a bit of the flavor in the cup. So who is this for? In our courses, we repeatedly find that there are enough people who aren't able to apply 10 or 15 kilograms of pressure, which we'd like to exert on our coffee puck so that we have exactly the compression we need for our coffee puck. That means if you're maybe a beginner or, as I said, can't manage to apply those 10 to 15 kilograms, then you'll avoid channeling if you use this tamper here. And the second advantage is simply that the result is always the same. We will definitely be using this tamper in our machine tests in the future for both grinders and machines so that we really always have the same conditions. And I honestly think that's just a huge advantage. Now I'll briefly go over the adjustment options of the tamper. There's not much there, but it's enough. It's switched on via this button here, and you can also switch it off again using it. We have various setting options here, such as the different pressure levels. It starts at 5 kilograms, but that's not even remotely enough, and we can increase the pressure up to 20 kilograms. In our opinion, that's not necessary either. With 15 kilograms, you're doing great. Additionally, you can adjust various things like the so-called hold time in this case, which means the interval between vibration and pressing. Then we have the pressing cycle here. We can set multiple cycles, 1, 2, or 3. Additionally, we can set the leveling time. Then there are also adjustment options for the vibration strength. We left it at 50%, which is actually enough, but you can also set it to 100%. Additionally, there is a cleaning function. You can choose different languages, and you can set after how many minutes the device should switch off automatically. And finally, that's about it. It's charged here via this USB-C port, and according to the manual, you should be able to tamp about 1,000 times per charge. We haven't been able to determine yet whether that's actually true or not. As I said, we've been using it for almost 2 months and haven't had to charge it once yet. You see, we still have almost a full charge, and that's basically it for this tamper here. The question for you is this a toy or not? Do you need something like this or do you not? That's a matter of opinion, of course. And if you think you can tamp perfectly, then do it the classic way, because that's also a lot of fun. I think there's another application where I clearly see this tamper. We don't just offer courses for aspiring or advanced home baristas. We also train professionals. That means the people who are in the cafe every day. What we see time and again is, for one thing, that there's too little training in cafes. And that, of course, the baristas change throughout the day. And often it's students who perhaps haven't looked into it quite so much yet. Or their bosses don't train them properly, as I said. And especially if you don't have much strength and maybe stand in the cafe for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. And it might even be a busy cafe where you're constantly pulling espressos. And maybe in the long run you have trouble always applying those 10 to 15 kilograms of pressure, then this is of course helpful. And it's also helpful in that you always exert a continuous pressure, no matter which barista is behind the counter. What impression you have of this tamper after watching our video? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's not necessary? Does it potentially change anything in your coffee preparation or maybe not? And if you liked our video, then we are of course happy about every like and especially about every discussion here on our coffee channel. Because with that you support us to move forward a bit further and to become more visible. You support us even more, of course, if you subscribe to our channel, because that really helps us enormously. because we have an insane amount of fun making these videos here for you, and of course want to continue doing that in the future. And on that note, I thank you for watching. We wish you enjoy a delicious coffee. Thank you very much, and until next time.